joined by Tommy and Ruby from Submotion Orchestra. How you doing, guys?
Hello,
very well, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Brilliant. So the band formed in Leeds in 2009. How did you guys get together to form a band?
It's a good question. It started off by myself and Dom Roxton, who's the producer, deciding that we wanted to kind of put together some kind of live dubstep act. We weren't quite sure how it would go, or the sort of the instrumentation or anything like that, but we felt that there was a kind of gap in the market for some kind of live dubstep thing. So it started off by the idea was to try and replicate sort of burial sounding stuff, like kind of quite dark, mainly instrumental, kind of two-step, garagey influenced dubstep or whatever. And this was kind of 5 or 6 years ago, so a little while ago. And anyway, so that was the kind of starting point for it, and very slowly it kind of built, and we decided to get some. Well, I was working with lots of different bands at the time, like in Leeds, and kind of picked a group of musicians who I thought would be interesting to work with. Some who I'd played with a lot before, others who were relatively new to me, but I'd heard a lot about, and then we were kind of jamming and had done a few instrumental rehearsals and stuff like that, and felt the need for some female vocals. So I got Ruby in, and I had never actually heard her sing before asking her to join the band, so it was a bit of a stab in the dark, but it's alright, it's worked out pretty well.
Brilliant. And you mentioned Burial. Are there any other artists, kind of electronic or dubstep based, that have really influenced you guys, or the sound?
Well, there's so many out there. I mean, for me personally, bands like Little Dragon, obviously, and Bonobo and things like that, and Cinematic Orchestra are very big influences. But in terms of dubstep, there's people like True Tiger.
I don't know. I think like more of the influences have come from outside of dubstep than dubstep itself. Like no one in the band apart from Dom, the producer, who's kind of unfatting out to be fair, were or are massively into dubstep. We all like it and respect it as a genre, but I don't think we would necessarily say that it was something that we listened to a lot of necessarily. It's more that it's a really useful kind of...
it's a good tool for communication, isn't it? As well?
Exactly.
It gets out to a wider audience, and I guess it gets the kids who are really into dubstep to appreciate other types of music, probably,
Sure,
and vice versa. You get like kind of old people at the gigs who are into jazz or whatever, that kind of then can appreciate heavy bass music, and it's really...
It does. It takes a lot of influence from jazz in particular, but also bits of soul, bits of R&B, I suppose. Almost bits of classical music. Garage. I mean, this is the thing. It's kind of a mixture of everything. I hate the word fusion. I hate that. Like we've been branded a fusion band at times. I despise that, but like it kind of is to a certain extent. I mean, I like to think it's not enough of any 2 or 3 things to be pigeonholed. I think it's so varied that actually it's kind of beyond fusion in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and your debut album, Finest Hour, was released last year, right?
Yes, in June.
In June last year. Yeah. How would you describe the album's sound and the themes?
Who's going to answer that?
It's quite dark, isn't it? Finest Hour. It's kind of got a...
It is in places, yeah. I mean, it's quite sort of texturally rich sort of sounding album. It's quite a lush sounding album, and it kind of, I don't know, it takes themes from lots of things. I'm a big believer in the starting points for music being real life and real events, and so most of the I think all of the tunes to some extent are about something very personal. Well, not always that, but just events that have either happened to me or other people in the band, or have like things that I feel that have affected us in some way or whatever.
And with the strings as well, like the strings play a massive role in the album. It's very continuous throughout the whole album as well, which kind of gives it that classical feel.
That was a classical extra for sure. So,
brilliant. And how has the album translated to your live shows? What's the setup like for that?
It's a good question actually, because I think as I was saying, the album is quite lush and quite rich and textural and quite dense in places, and there's a certain amount of that in the live show as well. But I think it's probably quite a lot. It's a lot more energetic, the live show, than the album. It's more full on, more dance floor, orientated than because the album's so chilled back and so blissful and so laid back, which is great, and that's kind of what we were going for. Quite a classic sounding album, but the stage show is much more energetic and much more in your face, I think, which is important. But it hasn't always been like that, has it? It's gone through lots of different.
We were even saying last night that we kind of want to bring the kind of more chilled live element back, because we feel like we're losing our subtlety, but we're trying. We're not trying. Yeah, we just need to play more chilled out.
It's a difficult mix because we're like, it's a combination. Like we walk a really fine line between acoustic music and electronic music.
Sure. And what have you guys got planned for the rest of the year? You've got a new single coming out.
Yeah, so we're working on our second album at the moment, and the first single from that is called "It's Not Me, It's You," and that'll be out I think on the 23rd of April. Something like that. And that's done really well so far. Actually, it's getting a lot of play on One Extra and a bit of Radio 1 as well.
We've just put it out on SoundCloud as well, actually, yesterday.
It seems to be going down well, so that's great. And then we'll have several more singles from the second album released over the coming 6 months, and then the album will be out probably October, November, something like that. So it's great, and then we'll be out on tour again in whenever the album's released, and it'll be another UK and probably European tour. So looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be great.
Tommy Ruby, it's fantastic chatting to you guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.